Welcome back to Invest, Rent to Own. This is Dan. We're here to teach you about rent to own strategies and how you can further profit from using them in your real estate investing. I've been a real estate investor for 20 years, and I have found the greatest success in applying these strategies that I would like to teach you. I began about 20 years ago, back in 2001, with basic strategies of flipping, and then I moved on to buy and hold single families homes. I bought some duplexes, and it just wasn't, I did make money at it. I lost some money at times, but it just wasn't quite the strategy that I was looking for to set myself financially free. I eventually tried multifamily, and it wasn't until I discovered rent to own that my investing career really started getting traction and taking off. And so I'm excited to teach you today about why rent to own is better than flipping. This is a deal sheet that I would like to share with you. This deal sheet is available for you to download for free. All you have to do is subscribe to my site. This deal is one that I'm executing now from July to December in 2021. Along the left side, you can see the capital gain information. We forecast to sell this house for $220,000. I bought it for $120,000. Have the spare equity of about $100,000. We're applying a commission. 7% commission is higher than standard, but I'm giving my realtor an additional 1% commission for managing the rehab, because I actually don't live in the state where this is occurring. You see the fix-up total is about $50,000 there. That includes the closing costs additional for closing on it on the front end. Some holding costs there as well, about $6,000, leaves a profit of almost $30,000, which is a return on investment of 36.6%. That's pretty good. Altogether, as the total investment, I've got $80,000 invested in the middle, total cash in there. So $30,000 made over that $80,000 with $80,000 invested, not too shabby. And 6 months to do it. So potentially I could do 2 a year of this same kind of deal. And so that's kind of what I'm going to walk you through in the upcoming information here. So how does it scale? That's one key element that I'd like to talk with you about. What I have found is that it's a challenge getting very good crews that are reliable, that continue to work. It seems like I either get the guys that are really expensive, and that makes the deal not possible, or you get the guys that are really lazy that you got to keep on them, and you can't really trust them to do the work right. So I've had crew challenges all throughout my 20-year investing career. It's also very time intensive. So there's a limit to how much you can do at a particular time. So I've given some examples. This first column here of 1 crew, 2 per year, is that example alone. If we just repeated that same thing of making $29,000 twice in a year, we're going to make 58,000, which is a 72% gain over the entire year. If you have 2 crews, then you can take $160,000, you can buy 2 deals, you can finish those 2 deals and 2 more deals after those with your 2 crews. Again, that's just scaling it linearly throughout the process. 4 crews, need more money, make more money. Now, some might argue you can do flips faster than 6 months. I agree with that. I think potentially doing 3 a year or 1 in a 4-month period is doable. The challenges to doing that faster than that is, number one, you've got to acquire it. Then once you get it, it's going to take time to order several different things that you need to get. Perhaps you're doing windows, perhaps you're doing roofing, perhaps you've got some specialty items like shower doors or other appliances that are going to take some time, weeks, sometimes months. Maybe you're getting new kitchen cabinets and need them special ordered. That takes additional time. So let's say that you can get your flip work done within 2 months, and then you put it on the market. It's still going to take, even if you get immediate offers, it's going to take a month to 2 months to close. So I think it's very aggressive to consider anything faster than a 4-month period of time. But it's quite possible that you could do it. So that's why I'm listing it as an example. Again, one thing I'm trying to highlight here is that it's very time intensive to stay on your cruise. I have not had as good a success. I do all of my investing when I'm not living in the area that I'm investing in. And so it's very challenging to keep my crews at maximum efficiency and doing the work that they need to do. And they're also very difficult to sequence efficiently. The deals come and the deals go, and some deals are better than other deals. And so it's difficult to line up deals one after the other without carrying additional carrying costs of holding them. It's definitely doable, but it isn't as efficient as other ways. So let me talk about a rent-to-own deal. This is a rent-to-own deal that I've got going on right now as well. I purchased the house for $181,000. I'm rent-to-owning it for, in the middle here, $5,000 down, $2,000 a month for 2 years, and then selling it for $245,000. So you can see on the left-hand side that capital gain is forecasted to be $62,000. And the cash flow is about $830 a month, which comes down to, I've got a tax factor and a depreciation factor in here as well. 22 or 19% cash flow is the return on investment. I've also got at the bottom of the spreadsheet here, if you combine what the capital gain and the cash flow is over the 2-year period of time, you're going to make a total of $80,000, which is divided by 2 years is almost a 90% per year return on investment. Not too shabby. You'll notice there's no repairs in this rent-to-own deal. That's because any repairs are the responsibility of the tenant buyer. I've got people lining up to want to rent to own and renovate their own houses. It's pretty exciting. Moving on. How do you scale it? Well, this first column here is about investing the $80,000 just for a apples to apples comparison. So the previous deal was a $45,000 deal. So I can't just multiply it by 2. So I just did like a pro rata to it to give you an idea, proportion kind of idea. So all in all, the equity created by investing the $80,000 in this manner is $110,000, and the yearly cash flow is $15,000 for a total value creation of $125,000. That's a 156% return on investment. I also want to highlight that you do not need full-time crew to make that happen. I said earlier, there's not any repairs that are required on that previous deal. You will at times need some repairs because you'll run into some tenant buyers that are not comfortable with doing different repairs. And so I recommend that you have access to a trusted electrician, a plumber, HVAC guy that'll do roofs, and a general handyman that will do all sorts of various things. When I strike a deal with someone on the sales side, they specifically are telling me what things I need to do. That's the point that I contact one of these professionals and make that happen before my tenant buyer moves in. And this is also more tax advantage than flipping. If you're flipping within a single year, you are going to pay the normal highest earned income tax rate on that flip. Yes, you can do a 1031, but they're more difficult to do. It's also, I think, easier to line up the 1031 deals with these rent-to-owns if you want to use the 1031 strategy, because you know 2 years ahead of time approximately when you'll be closing on some. So if you can line up several together at the same time, then you can trade up to some larger and larger deals. It also lends itself to a good cash out refi strategy with the tenant doing the repairs it's going to increase in value. You contact the tenant, you get a new appraisal, and you get a cash out refi while they're still in there. That way, if they don't end up purchasing at the end of the 2-year option, you've still got it set up for an ideal rental that's cashed out the majority, if not more, than the capital you've invested. See that scaling it, I have an example there of 1 per month or 12 per year or 3 per month. 3 per month sounds a lot, huh? 36 investments in a year? I'll tell you, that's what I did this last year in 2021. Did 35 deals this year alone, and that was essentially the results. So we created 1.1, we actually created 1.5 million in total value creation. Actually, it's even better than that. We did 1.5 million in equity creation, and we did 150,000 in yearly cash flow for 1.6 of total value created just this last year. So it absolutely scales, and I did it not living in the city that I'm doing my investing in. I just visited once a month for 2 days and got those results. So a comparison. The rent to own there of the 80,000 versus the flipping of the 80,000, both there in green. You can see that the rent to own is doing better. And the 3 per month, I give you an example of, what is max throttle here? How many can you really do? Could you manage more than 4 crews? I'm not sure really that I could. And so what you're making on that is 230,000 with 320,000 invested. So it's not as great as sitting back, letting the rent to own happen. It's an old adage, you make the money when you buy. And so the rent to own allows you to focus much more on the front end and see, how the assets perform and whether they sell, and then you've got options on the back end if they don't sell. Some areas where rent to own is more efficient. Why are we getting better returns here? You can see on the left-hand side, commission. I'm not paying a real estate commission when I sell it at the end of 2 years because I've already found the buyer and I don't need to pay the commission on the flip. Some will flip without a realtor. I have found that realtors are real value added, both on the front end and the back end. And in this case, my realtor is also the one who is managing the contractor that is doing the work. So she's a real value add for me when I don't live in the town that I'm investing in. You see that there's a lot more money that I've got to bring to the table to make a single deal happen. In rent to own, I could do 3 or 4 deals with the same 80,000 invested. It depends on the deal size, but that's what I typically have found. And I don't have to worry about holding costs because I'm usually able to line up tenants within days or weeks of me acquiring the property. So my holding cost is essentially nil. So summary here, flipping is good. I continue to flip. I gave you an example of a flip deal. I've got a few flip deals that I have going on at any given time, but I find that it's limited in its ability to scale. Rent to own has a lot less lossage that I just discussed. Losses that make it less efficient, and so does the holding cost. Nobody's benefiting from it. Your bank's benefiting from it, I guess. The utility company is benefiting from it. The lawnmower guy is benefiting from it, but you don't really benefit. It's just lost expenses. And you can hold more property. You can do more deals. That's what sets you free. I said earlier, just in this last year alone, 35 deals, 150,000 in passive income. It's really life-changing kind of income. So what do? I buy as many rent-to-owns as I can, and I try and find buyers for every single one of them. I'll typically buy a foreclosure, which gives me 3 months on the front end to find the buyer, If I don't find a buyer, then I'm evaluating it more stringently for a flip. I use my deal spreadsheet so I can evaluate it in 3 different ways all at the same time. Does this one make good sense? Right? Could I flip it if I have to? What if I rent to own it? What if I just hold it? Those are all different things that the market is going to give me at different situations, and I got to be able to pivot strategies. And so I analyze all the strategies at the same time. Again, I want to highlight to you that this deal spreadsheet is available for you to download if you follow the links below. To do that, I also encourage you to subscribe to our channel. So we've got more good content coming up to teach you how to do your investments better. I also appreciate your comments. Go ahead and put them in, and we'll use that to generate future content to address any questions that you have. Thanks so much for watching today. Again, I'm Dan Schmidt. This is Invest Rent to Own. We'll talk to you soon.